Hello everybody. On this Sunday the markets are closed, but I want to give a little bit of forecast for the coming week, and I want to go through my pending orders I have in the market. And if you want, you can also ask some questions. I have here my chart open and I have attached the MetaGrid Trade Manager. We can also check here for the order blocks if we want to do. I'm here on the weekly chart, and my first pair for this forecast is the Aussie Swissy. You can see I have here one buy pending order so far. It's way below the actual price, so it's not really a trade. I think it will happen fast, but I change, of course, from time to time my pending orders. On the weekly chart, you see that the Aussie Swissy was here clearly in a down move until here, and now we have 2, 3, 4 weeks with green candles. So Aussie Swissy was 4 weeks climbing upwards. It has broken here this trend line. This purple trend line here is a weekly trend line. And if we switch lower to the daily time frame, and let's remove the order blocks, you can see here it has jumped over this trend line, and maybe it wants to retest in the new week here this trend line. We will see this. It's possible. Here on the daily time frame, we can see that a demand zone has been created here. This is this yellow box here. If we go lower to the H4, we can see it better. And this H4 demand zone already reacted, as you can see. Our price came back here to this yellow zone and gave then here, if we had entered here after we see some green pips, around 17 pips. It's not so much so far, but still it gave here a reaction on this demand zone. So it was a first retest already here of this demand zone. And if we zoom a little bit out here, you can see this red line is a daily trend line here, and this red line is a daily trend line too. So there's nothing really interesting so far for targeting or for enter the trade so far. We have to see in the next week if it maybe wants to retest this break of this weekly trend line again. We have to see this. And you can see the last attempt to come higher here failed. It made here this pin bar with this wick and tail on it. So we have to closely watch this pair in the new week, what it is doing. Maybe we see here a retest. If we go to a lower time frame, the H1, you can see the nice reaction here on the dynamic moving average from MetaGrid here. This is also a good way to enter a trade if you see here reaction on the dynamic moving average. You should not blindly trade, of course, such reactions. You wait for price action, so price comes here to our dynamic moving average, and then if you see that you get here these spikes on these candles, and it begin here then to move upwards. And so of course it's not a 100% guarantee, even if you see green candles, but it's a good sign that this moving average could hold and that we here come higher, and it did, as you can see. We have a H1 demand zone here. If we check it for the Fibonacci levels, maybe you are familiar with this, you can see that we have here not a perfect match here. This is here the 61.8 level. It's a little bit higher than our demand zone, and you can see we got here almost a reaction on the 38.2 level, more or less, and this level was in this demand zone, in this H4 demand zone, so it was a good level. I think the 50 level could also be good. You can see on the left side we had here resistance at this time, then it here became here support at this time, and maybe when the price comes back here to the 50 level, which is almost a retest then of this broken weekly trend line, then we can check for price action if we come here into a possible buy trade. This is one opportunity you have with this pair in the new week, that you watch here for this 50 level, and you can see that this moving average is almost also here on this 50 level. So I think when the trading week starts and the first candles come, that this moving average comes closer here to this 50 level. And so you could here set an alert around this area, and then you check what the price is doing. If it goes instead higher, we have not really something what we can target so far. Let's check. I remove here first the Fibonacci. Let's check on the daily chart. We have here resistance. You can see it came here downwards some months ago. It was support here at this time. Here the support got broken. It retested it here. Then it became now resistance. And if we make it perfect here, that it matches with the 2 wicks here, and if we now go back to the H1, you can see there is a little bit room left here to this resistance. So price could not manage in the last week or current week to come to this resistance. So it's also possible that we see an attempt here to break this line, or to come at least to this resistance line here. And then it gets also interesting if this line gets broken too. This would be a really strong sign that the Aussie is still strong and the Swiss currency is weak. And then we could here wait for a retest. If it gets broken here, we could wait for a retest of this daily resistance line, and if it then goes higher, then this is more or less a sign to step into buy trades here. So I would wait here what this pair does at the opening of the markets on tonight or on Monday. Depends when you check your charts. I would wait here for the 50 level, like I told you, or if it goes higher and does not retest here the 50 Fibonacci level, that we check here the white line, the resistance from the daily chart. Maybe it comes through, or it's also a good point maybe for a little sell trade. If you see that it makes here wicks and it gets rejected here from this daily resistance line, then maybe you can come into some sell opportunity here. If you have any questions, of course I check the chat from time to time, then I try to ask them. Otherwise I would go further with the next pair. You saw on this Aussie Swissy, I don't have really a pending order which is close. Again, my pending order is a little bit deeper, but of course I'm not only trade with pending orders, I'm still watching the markets, what they do, and then I jump into own trades. Okay, let's go to the next pair. This is the pound Swissy. Let's wait that we get the chart data, and you can see so far I have here no order on this pair, but I want to show you here this. I zoom a little bit in for you. We have here a double supply zone. We have firstly this red box here. This is a daily supply zone, and in this red box we have a yellow box which is H4 supply zone, and we have a third thing which is good. It's the dynamic moving average from MetaGrid, which is also here in this area of these two supply zones. So this area here, and now we get the trend lines calculated from MetaGrid 2, and you can see there's a third thing. We have the weekly trend line, the purple one is the weekly one, also here on this area. So this area here should give an opportunity for sell trades. I don't want to say that it gives 100, 200, 400 pips here, but still, if the price comes here into this zone, we check for price action, that we can get a portion of possible sell trades here. It looks really nice for me. And of course, we have here resistance. You can see here price was rejected here several times, and a little bit higher we have again resistance here from these rejections here from October 2020. And so this is a really strong resistance area here. Maybe price manages to come into this area in the new week. Let's see how many pips we have to go for this. It's around 100 pips, so this is for this pair basically not a problem to come that far in the next or the new trading week. And downwards we have two demand zones here from the H4 times frame. If we go to this time frame, the H4, then we can see more demand zones. If we go lower on H4, and I have the settings of my supply and demand indicator, that it automatically shows the supply and demand zone based on which time frame I'm on it. So the lower I go, the more demand zones from the lower time frames I get displayed here on my chart. And I use, of course, the MetaGrid supply and demand indicator, which gives me the multi-time frame analyze here. And you can see the H1 demand zone already reacted. We got here this white box around here. So the demand and supply indicator recognizes such zones normally after one or two candles. So this is the beginning of the creation here. You see this is the beginning of the box. And with the second candle here, the indicator could calculate that this is here a demand zone, and so you had some hours left, and then the price came almost on the pip here to this H1 demand zone, and then we get here on Friday very late this reaction. So normally you would maybe not trade this pair at the end of the trading week, and we have here lower, more demand zones. If we see a lot of demand zones on a pair like this is a clear sign that we're in an up move, because we have here at the moment not really that much supply. Besides that supply I showed you, the older one, these are really fresh demand zones. So if you see a lot of fresh demand zones like here, they are all created the last 7 days. While as these zones here are older, you can see they go far way back in history. So if you see a lot of fresh demand zones, this means that this pair is strong, in a strong up move so far. And if the price comes back and wants to retest all these demand zones, we check for price action if we maybe can come in such a trade. And if we add here a Fibonacci, I use a Fibonacci tool, you can see that we have here the 50 level in this H1 demand zone. This is of course a possible trading opportunity we could get here. We also have on the left side a little bit resistance here. And I like the 61.88 level too, because we have here a double demand zone. You can see the yellow box and the white box here. And I think I would maybe place here, if I make a box for you, I would here check in this area for a trading opportunity, to be honest. So here in this area here, if price comes back here, this could give buy opportunities. Of course, you should always wait for price action. And on the other hand, we have, like I told you here, up on the upside, a lot of supply. And of course, this should give also the possibility to come into possible sell trades. So maybe you put an alert here and maybe an alert. I would place the alert based on a daily time frame. So I would place the alert basically around here. Let's check which price level we have here. This is on the 1.15444 level around here. And so this whole area here, in my opinion, could give you sell opportunities on this pair in the new trading week here. Okay, I clean all the stuff I painted on it. You have here the clean button on MetaGrid. Then you can clean the chart. I would jump to the next pair on my list is the Aussie Kiwi. Let's go for this one. So this is the weekly chart for this pair. We had here some years ago, 2 years ago, amazing trade here on a weekly demand zone, but these weekly demand zones are normally not possible to trade because they have very often a large stop loss. If we placed here an entry, then here 100 pips stop loss. Okay, for a weekly chart it's okay, but still you see the reaction. It came back to this demand zone and then it shooted up here for over 1000 pips here. On the weekly chart it looks really clean here so far. Maybe if we look back in history, I think we have here a clear resistance area, which we have to focus on. Price is so far 120 pips away of this. So it's theoretically possible that we can reach this area in the new trading week, but we have here also 4 green weeks already. So 4 weeks in a row the price was going higher. Maybe it's we see a week that we see a little bit of retracement, that it wants to go lower, that new buyers can jump in maybe, because this is really impressive move here we had, and it looks like a bit it wants on the weekly side to retest here this resistance sooner or later. You should paint it in your chart and watch for this level here when price comes here. Let's check the daily time frame here, and you see on the daily time frame it looks not so far away, so possible that we see here this level reached maybe. And if we place again our Fibonacci tool, I like it. We have here only this demand zones lower. I don't know if price really would go all the way down that soon. I don't think so, that we see this in the new week. It's the daily chart, so I don't think that we see a full retest of this area that soon. But maybe it retests here the 23.6 level or the 38.2 level in the new week, that we see retracement after this impressive up move, and then new buyers could step in here or here. I like the 38.2 level really, because we have here also a little bit resistance at this area here. You can see this here. This here is resistance. We have here spikes, resistance. So this 38.2 level is interesting for retracements. And then we check for price action if new buyers step here in. And on the other hand, we check, of course, if we see here maybe reactions on this line. I think I'm really sure that we should see here something. If we place the fib levels the other way, from this high to this low, this resistance level is between the 50 and 68.8. So it's interesting here too, but it's a really big area here from the 50 to the 61. So 120 pips. But still, you should check here for this area here. Maybe we see it in the new week. These are the opportunities I see here, or the things you should watch here on this pair in the new week. Then let's go to the next pair I have on my list. It's the dollar CAD. And you can see I have here a pending order on this pair. A little bit lower than the last support area. So the last support was here. And yeah, I hope that price comes down again here to the support area. It's a really strong one. You can see here it was resistance at this time. It got rejected. it got rejected, and it's really nice to see again how resistance here became then support. It jumped here over our resistance, retested the resistance support line in this case then, and then it was going higher, retested again the support line, and I hope it will hold another time when price comes back here to this area. This is the reason why I have here this pending buy order on this pair. Yeah, and on the higher side, you see it already rejected really nice on this supply level here. This red box is a daily supply level, and we have countless possibilities here. You can see every time it got rejected here on our daily time frame, and sometimes you have really to be a little bit patient, and you can see it took a while, and then finally it was going down from here, so it could not manage to break here this really strong supply zone. And here we have a higher supply zone, a smaller one, and you can see last year this zone got retested here with this little tiny entry in our supply zone, and from there on it was going down max 700 pips, and at the moment it's on 560 pips. And you can see if we had placed here an entry and we had a stop loss on the lower end of this box with 75 pips, this is a really good win ratio, I would say here. This was a really nice reaction, and these are the perfect reactions on such zones. If you see that price comes in such a supply zone and instant leaves this zone, based here on the daily time frame in this case, if it leaves instant such a zone, this is a really good sign. And if you see a case like here, if the candles always spikes and they come not through such a zone, this is also a good sign. Don't get nervous here, just wait, and what happens. And you can see this did hold here. So I wait here, maybe that we get again support here. It's a little bit risky, of course, because it already did hold a lot of time, this support here. So it depends a little bit on the news, on the dollar CAD we get in the new week. And then maybe I decide here if I remove this. But so far, I think I can go with this support here. Okay. Then we go to the euro pound. Let's go on the weekly first. Yeah, we had here on the left side, of course, resistance. This is exactly the area where price stopped on the end of this trading week. So this is a really interesting level we are sitting on here at the moment, on this weekly resistance level. It was several times support, as you can see here. Then it got finally broken based on news. Then we had this spike, really impressive spike candle on a weekly base. Then we got here rejection, and now it sits again here. And the euro is really strong so far. And I would not be surprised if we see in the next week that the euro can here jump over this resistance. If we go lower to the daily, you can see this candle already broke here this resistance clearly. And then we got on Friday again retracement. But maybe this is only a retracement that buyers gets a better price here, and that we then see in the new trading week again a push upwards, and the next target level, if we can really break here this line, and if the price manages to stay above this white line, this is really important. If it can manage to stay above this white line, maybe for 1 or 2 days in the new trading week, then the next target which we could aim is this bigger H4 supply zone here. So from here where we are at the moment on this white line to here, we have over 200 pips. So there is no need for rush. I would not jump in on Monday after the markets open. I would clearly want to see that this white line gets broken and then it holds as support. But you, because you saw it on the weekly, after the last break of this white line, we got here this really big rejection here on the weekly candle. But I think if the euro stays strong, all these areas here could get knocked out here. It depends what the euro does. Yeah, but it's an interesting pair and we are on a really interesting zone here. So I hope that euro gets stronger or stays strong, better to say, and that this line gets clearly broken. Then we can here have a really, really nice up move and buy trade here until in this zone here. Okay, this is the euro pound. Then go to the Aussie dollar. You can see here I have a pending order on this one, and this is not a big surprise. This order, it is almost here on this last resistance based on the daily chart here. You see this resistance here, and when price comes back, it was long time not tested here, this resistance. It should give a reaction here. This is my hope and my trading ID for this pair. The last time it was here, it was in August 2020. So maybe we see here a reaction. If we switch on the weekly time frame, you can see this is a really interesting place here. Several times you got here different reactions here on this pair. And we had here lowered this really impressive big weekly demand zone. It's not tradable this way because it's way too big to place a stop loss, but still it reacted. You can see it came back here. This zone has been created in 2 years ago, in February 2020. After this up move, we got here this weekly demand zone, and now 2 years later, it came back in September 2020, and it reacted. So, but I never had taken this trade with such a impressive stop loss here, okay? But it's only to show you that even the big demand zones can work here. We have not so much other zones here. They have the small daily supply zone here higher. So the next step is to wait that price comes here on the Aussie dollar. So if the dollar gets weaker or stays weak, better to say, then we could maybe reach here this area where I have placed my entry here. Okay, we jump to the CAD Swissy. Based on the daily time frame, it looks like we had here now a little bit support after this down move on the CAD Swissy. I place here a line that we can see clearly here. It gave support. So far it did hold. On the weekly area you can see why it did hold. If we look back on the left side, it was former support in also 2 years ago. In April 2020, this first support area was created, or did hold. It did hold in July 2020, and after that, price never came back here to this zone. And now, some weeks ago, 4 weeks or 5 weeks ago, it came all the way back here, and it did it reacted here, or gave this reaction here. Based on the weekly chart, of course, we see here interesting support areas. Let's see how far we are away from this. 180 pips. Depends on the new week. If the CAD gets stronger and the Swissy stays a bit weak, then maybe the CAD goes higher here, and then this is our next area where we should watch for possible trades. And let's check with the FIB tool from this high to this low. It's not a perfect match here. This is resistance. Really nice place would be the 50 level. You can see the 50 level is exactly here on this little resistance candle here. So we will see what happens here. It should give a reaction because of this support here, and now it's resistance. But definitely on the higher levels, I would check here for this 50 area on the FIB level 50. But this, I don't think we could reach in the new week. This is far away. So only to show you what is going on this pair. If we check for lower areas, the next area is this here. So if the CAD stays, Canadian currency stays weak, and this last support gets broken in the new week, then our next area for target is then here. And between here and here we have 160 pips. So it's the same here. We would wait for a sell trade. I would wait that the price breaks here this support line. As long as this pair does not break this support line, I would stay here in buy trades or look out for buy trades. So at the moment, I would most probably don't open a trade on this pair until we get more conclusion what this wants to do. Based on the weekly time frame, it's in a downtrend, and so we have to wait in the new trading week what it does. If it wants again to retest here this support, if the support holds, if it holds for longer, then we can go for buy trades. But if you place here, for example, a trend line like this, for example, it's hard to place here one, but if we cover here this last high, then a clear change on direction, so that we can say it goes in the buy direction, it would be if the trend line got broken here on a daily base. So as long as this trend line has not been broken, this pair is for me not tradable in the buy direction. I would stay out of this pair. And if I see that this last support got broken, then I would go into the next sell trade here on this pair. So at the moment it's a waiting pair, and I would skip it until we get here a confirmation what this pair wants to do next. Next we have Euro NCD. So this is my next pair. And you can see almost we are on an entry here. It missed it on Friday, which is really sad, because after that it was going down already on Friday. So you can see we are almost 60 pips here, but like I told you, it missed it here. The entry, the order has not been activated. There was some pips missing, which is really sad. I have to see if I let this pending order active in the new trading week. It was such a nice entry zone here, based here on this. You can see we had here resistance. So yeah, it's a little bit sad that we came not in it. You see the reason for my entry was also here this supply zone on the H1 time frame. We had a double supply zone sitting on each other, and so I placed here already a little bit deeper than this first supply zone, but a price missed it by I think 1 or 2 pips. This happens sometimes. Yeah, I think I let it active, this pending order so far, but it's of course now riskier. So if this trade gets activated in the new week, and the euro, like I told you, is strong at the moment, it's possible that this trade does not work, but I will see in the new week. Yeah, but I gave you this entry in my Telegram group also. And if you had the same, placed the same number as I did, then maybe it missed it too. But maybe your broker activated it. I don't know. So if you are in this trade, it's a good time to close it then. We are almost 60 pips in profit. So if maybe with spread, your broker activated this pending order, I would take the pips after the market reopens. So it was a good idea, but on my case, on IC markets, it missed it by 1 or 2 pips here. Okay, then let's see what I have next. The Euro Swissy. I have here one pending order here in this area, a little bit higher than this yellow demand zone. It's a H4 demand zone. The reason for this is simply because I think the reaction could come a little bit higher as this demand zone. If we look here back in history, we had here also already a support a bit. And so I decided to place my pending order around this area here. Of course, it's far away at the moment. And the next thing we should watch is here this dynamic moving average. Maybe we see here based on a daily time frame a reaction the next days that it here comes to our moving average. And then it reacts here, and then we see maybe a little bit retracement here. But on the daily time frame, we already have here a pin bar. You can see it's a bigger one. So maybe in the next week, we already see a retrace. And then if we get a retrace, this here is a H4 demand zone. If we switch to the H4 time frame, you can see we have more than one demand zones. We have a hourly demand zone, another hourly, and this H4 here. So this is a really good place to go into a buy trade if the euro does not get any negative news in the new week and it wants only to retrace that buyers can step into a good price. Then this is definitely an area you should wait for your buy trade on this pair. And if we check it with the fib levels based on these last lows here and this high, then you can see that we have here also the 61.8 fib level here, a little bit above this first demand zone. So maybe you want already to place here in pending order or wait for price action, or you wait that price comes a bit deeper. I think I would wait that price comes a bit deeper as the 61.8 level, especially if we look back here on the left side, we have here a spiky candle, so this should give support too, and this support sits almost on the same place like here this yellow one and the white one a little bit lower. So I think I would go here around here this area and wait for price action. And you can see we have here this purple trend line painted from MetaGrid, and so when price comes here back, it could here bounce on this weekly trend line, and then this bounce should happen in our demand zone then. So we have to wait for this in the new week. And so far I would not trade any other thing with this pair. I would wait that it retraces here to this area, and then I would consider to go into a buy trade. Okay, I have 2 more pairs, and then I'm through the forecast for the new week. I have the pound Kiwi for you. So on the weekly, I have nothing on it. You can see there is no trade so far. It's a complicated pair. You can already see this on the daily chart. It does not really do much the last days. It goes a little bit up and down. So it is in a range, and it is in a really big demand zone so far. You can see this is basically the main reason why this pair does not move. We need some news on this pair, that something happens, or that the sellers or the buyers want to trade this pair, that we get bigger moves. So it has either to come out of this demand zone, but if it comes out, then we have here this supply zone. It already reacted here. You can see gave a nice trade. So this is the reason the supply zone and this big demand zone, it switched here between. And to trade this pair, either this supply zone has to be removed, so we need a big up move here, and then this should get broken, or it should remove here this demand zone so that it goes lower and lower, and then it removes here this demand zone, and then maybe we see here new possibilities. So this pair is on hold, based here on the chart picture. I don't like it at all. And so I wait here and I skip this pair. Maybe we can see another reaction here on the H4 supply zone because the moving average is also here, but it's really risky. Better to skip this pair here. It's so far not on my trading list. And the last one is the cable, the pound dollar. This is the last pair on my forecast for this week because I have here two pending orders on it. I have a pending buy order and a pending sell order. The pending sell order is here around this supply zone here. And you can see this one also missed here my entry by 1 or 2 pips. So I wait here a little bit longer that it comes back again here. And then maybe we see the reaction because we have here two supply zones here on this area. So I think this could give again a reaction. Ideal, maybe a double top here, and then it goes down. Hard to say so far. I let this pending order active at the moment. I have to see what the new trading week brings for these two currencies, the pound and the dollar. Buy entry is around here. The reason for this is in case of stop hunters, if you see a retracement and the stop hunters want to take out here the buyers of this pair, then maybe they go around here for stop hunting, and then I could come maybe here into a buy trade. So this is the reason for this pending order, and this one is only because I think it's not done here. We have two supply zones. It should give one more reaction here. But this one is of course riskier here because it already reacted here and it missed here this entry a bit. So it depends if you want to go with such risky trades. And again, let's check the fib levels from this low to this last swing high on this pair. Then you can see that we have a really good match here on the 61.8 level here. We have here also a demand zone, but this demand zone here, this yellow box, already reacted. You can see after this green candle, normally you should get here this yellow box. Price came all the way back down. It gave a sniper entry here on this demand box, and from there on it was going up and up and up. And then it reacted again here on this supply zone, more or less. It had not reached it completely, but you see in front of the supply zone it already gave a bigger retracement here, and so we have to see in a new week what these two currencies can give us here. So this is basically the forecast for the new week for the pairs I am watching in the new week. I think we have some trading opportunities. This I showed you are the trading opportunities on the higher time frame, so basically H4 to weekly. Of course, if we check for the lower time frames, H1 and maybe M30, we see short trade opportunities too. So intraday trading opportunities during the week. But it's hard to call such opportunities because if we go to the lower time frames, we have to see what the market does at the moment. So if the market is closed and we want to make a forecast for the whole next week, we have to stay on these higher time frames, daily, weekly, H4. And there we can better plan the next thing we want to do. And I like really to go with these higher time frames for long-term trades or for trades we can plan days and weeks in front of us. Okay, I hope you like this forecast for the new week. We will see if we can catch some pips in my Telegram group, which is linked below this video. You find the link to this free Telegram group where I give you every morning my pending orders. And yeah, until next time, I wish you all the best for the new trading week. Stay safe and goodbye for now.